Hi there and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Marcus Henriksson and I'm a teacher here in Sweden. I teach, for example, history, religion, geography and social science. So if you're interested in these things, then you have come to the right place. I am now 33 years old. I live in a town here in Sweden called Falun, but originally I come from a town called Sundsvall. Sundsvall is also called capital of the North. It was founded in the 1700s by the Swedish king Gustav II Adolphus. And you can see him here on the picture. I started my education as a teacher at Dalarna University in Falun in 2009 and took my teaching degree or master's degree here in 2015. My main subjects are history and religion, but I have also studied things like, for example, 1.5 semester of geography. I've always been interested in things like history and religion and social science. For example, I started by collecting old coins when I was around 6 years old. But I also collect stuff like, for example, Chinese porcelain, antique oil paintings, old swords and pistols, glass, precious stones or gemstones, etc. For a couple of years ago, I had my own radio show. It was called Talk Politics with Marcus. I have sat as a judge in the district court here in Falun in Sweden. I've written my own book about environmental destruction and global economics. I run my own business, which is called Make the World Green Again. I try to plant as many trees as possible, mostly in Africa. I love to watch movies and documentaries and series. For example, I've seen and rated over 26,000 movie series episodes on a popular website called IMDb. You might have heard of it. Right now, I try to watch as many documentaries here on YouTube as I possibly can. I have, for example, over 2,500 favorites. And I will try my best to keep my lectures up to date. Therefore, I watch daily stuff like news, cultural news, various YouTube channels. I subscribe to a lot of channels, mostly in things like, for example, economics, politics, social science, history, and religion. I'm also a member of different groups, mostly on Facebook, and I like to read a lot of different newspapers, so I get as many different perspectives as possible. On my spare time, I prefer to play a lot of board games, preferably strategic ones like Axis and Allies here on the picture. I used to play a lot of poker and chess back in the old days. I love to fish. I also read a lot of different books. And I like to discuss social issues. My favorite authors are J.K. Rowling, Franz Kafka, Oscar Wilde, Scott Orson Card, Aldous Huxley, Fyodor Dostoevsky, and Pierce Brown. On the one picture here you can see my daughter. Her name is Elia, and she is now 7 soon years old. She's still 6, but she will become 7 in January. And on the second picture here you can see my cat. Her name is Ninja. Where have I worked before? Well, I started as a teacher at Lugnet Gymnasiet in Falun. I worked there between the years 2014 to 2018. I then worked 1 year at Kunskapsskolan in Borlänge. and then Domnarvets skola in Borlänge. Right now I work at Rytmus Gymnasium in Borlänge. I began to work there 2020. And I teach things like history, religion, social science, geography, entrepreneurship, etc. So those are my so-called subjects. I also like to travel a lot. I have been in almost every different region here in Sweden. I have also traveled to Norway, Denmark, Finland, Estonia, France, Germany, UK or Great Britain, Austria, the Czech Republic, Italy, Vatican City, Russia, Greece, South Korea, Japan, China, and Thailand. What is learning for me? Well, the first thing I would like to say is that knowledge is very important. I personally like to be as well read and to know what I'm talking about as I possibly can. I also try to make my teaching here in Sweden as interesting and fun as possible for my students, and I also try to do that here on YouTube. I like to add things like, for example, some fun facts, etc. Stuff you don't have heard before or don't know about. So, my channel here on YouTube will focus on these things: history, religion, social studies or science, and geography. And right now I have about 280 different lectures, but those are in Swedish, and I will now try to convert them here to my English YouTube channel as well. They are often short, between 15 and 30 minutes, and I will try to make them as interesting and fun as I possibly can. For example, I will make a lot of different lectures here on YouTube that has to do about the things called history. History of the world from Big Bang to today. Sweden's history from the Ice Age to today. Cultural history. Stuff like the Renaissance, for example. Historical personalities like Queen Elizabeth, George Washington, Gandhi, etc. I will also add a lecture about the history of the Swedish school, youth cultures, the history of Russia and other different countries that you might find interesting. Religion, all major religions, their beliefs and their history. But yeah, I will focus on things like Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism and Buddhism. But also things like new religious movements such as Scientology, different sects, etc. When it comes to geography, I will talk about different things. Anything from rock types, volcanism, earthquakes, climate change, weather, geographical information systems, natural resources, material resources, to things like the world's water, fish, agriculture, forest, etc. And when it comes to social science, I will talk about everything from world poverty to dictatorships and democracy to globalization and robots and AI. To have lectures here on YouTube has a lot of different advantages. For example, you can, as a student, work at your own pace. You can pause whenever you want to. You can rewatch the same video several times. You can also make them faster, slower, etc. And they are great before you take an exam, for example. They are great if you have been sick for a while or you have to stay at home for different reasons. I also have my own homepage, which is called sokungen.se or com, but it is in Swedish, of course. I also try to make Kahoots or quiz for all my lectures. I have them on a website called kahoot.it. I have been featured in a lot of different newspapers, radio channels, etc. because I have so many lectures here on YouTube, and I try to make my education as digital as I possibly can. I have therefore been nominated for several awards, especially or preferably Teacher of the Year. I was nominated for that one in 2017, 18, 19, 21 and 22. And here in Sweden we also have a prize called the Golden Apple, which is a prize that you can get if you are very good at digital work or education. I was nominated for that prize 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 and 22. Since you have visited my channel, I like to speak a little bit about my political standpoints and views. Here in Sweden, the last election, I voted for a party called Direktdemokraterna. They are the most neutral party here in Sweden as you can possibly find. They are either left nor right. They are neither in the middle. They are nowhere and everywhere all at once. The only thing they want is more democracy. They like to vote as the Swedish people. But yeah, I have been politically active in my younger years. I have been a member of the right party here in Sweden called Moderaterna. I have been a member of the left party called Vänsterpartiet and the green party called Miljöpartiet. I consider that all parties have their advantages and disadvantages respectively. I also try to make my videos as political neutral as possible and as truthful as I possibly can. Am I a believer? Since you have visited my channel, I like to speak a little bit about my religion and religious views. I wouldn't say that I'm religious per se, but that I'm searching for the truth wherever I can find it. I therefore like to read as much as I possibly can, even when it comes to religious texts. So I had read stuff like the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, Falun Gong, Dianetics by the Scientology, and so on. Should you trust me? No, you should never trust anyone. You should always be critical of the different sources, stuff on YouTube, stuff on the media that you see. So of course you should be critical even of my lectures. The advantage of listening to my lectures are that I have no economical interest of, let's say, make stuff more important than they are, or more explosive or dramatic. I always try to find the truth, even if it is a horrible one. And I have also had a lot of education in my subjects, so therefore I am kind of trustworthy, but yet again I can make mistakes. So in conclusion, feel free to give me anything, especially feedback, constructive one preferably. And if you find any, let's say, factual errors, please write a comment and I will look into it immediately. Everybody can make mistakes, even teachers, but I try to make my lectures as truthful and as correct as possible. Please share my videos and please feel free to like them. I will try to update and improve all of my videos and lectures as soon as I possibly can. The only question really is how long it will take. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave a comment or send me an email. Bye.